From the real estate, interior design, and design and build experts at the Penzo Group comes a podcast that covers all things home. For our team, a home is so much more than the sum of its four walls. It goes beyond. A home is our sanctuary, a place to create memories, build routines, and shape our futures. Through a series of captivating conversations with guests who are industry experts in their fields, we discuss their lives, passions, and their most personal and intimate spaces, their homes. Welcome to Beyond Four Walls, where we explore the soul of living spaces and celebrate the essence of what makes a house a true home. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Beyond Four Walls. We're kicking off season 2 today with the co-founder of the Narwhal, which is a women's wear boutique in Summerhill. We have Syd Wills here today. So excited to have her.
So excited to be here.
Yes. I wanted to start by asking, community is so important to us. And, you know, we both live in Summerhill, love the neighborhood. This is one of our absolute favorite shops in the neighborhood. Why did you pick Summerhill as your first location? I know you founded the company in 2010 and it was actually a different location than where we are now, but what made you choose this neighborhood?
I think growing up, I grew up down the street. I grew up like a block away from my public school, a block away from my private school, and I walked these streets with my mom and my dad and my sisters growing up. The shops were always so important to us, and I loved most of the people that ran them. There were the ladies at Pat a Shoe that I just adored, and just all of the homeware shops. There was, you know, Hollis Clooney started there, and I love Susan so much. And I feel like I kind of, in some version, grew up on these streets, and I loved the selection. I thought it was so nice to have a neighborhood with all these beautiful shops and a huge sense of community. That was always so important to me, and that you recognize most of the people on the street. And just, you kind of always felt at home on these streets. And that was really important to me. And I felt also growing up that there was never a women's store. There were so many homewares and restaurants and beautiful tea boutiques and so many things on offer. And I was like, oh, you know, wouldn't it be so great if there was also a cute boutique or a couple cute boutiques? And then it was, you know, Shop Nyla opened up down the street, and that was so great and inspiring. And I was like, awesome. And then I met Marissa and the vision came to life, and then we chose this as our spot. In our original location, the landlord was obsessed with the community and obsessed with preserving it, and I really loved that for him. And he was so in love with our idea and our vision that he really helped us establish our roots here. And I really love that.
Love it. Yeah, I feel like you're such a staple in the neighborhood. Like, and coming into Narwhal, it really always just feels like home. It's so welcoming. I wanted to ask you about the name. It's whimsical.
Yes.
How did you come up with the name, the Narwhal?
The name is, I never wanted the store to be called something serious.
Okay.
It was always, I never wanted it to be like Syd and Marissa's boutique or like, I don't know. It just needed to be playful. It needed to be unexpected. And so narwhals are this magical, mystical creature that are for real. Yeah. And they spend most of their time in Canadian waters. So it was nice to have that kind of reference back.
And your initial branding was the actual image of the narwhal.
Yes. Yeah. I hand drew that narwhal. It was like boots on, just doing everything ourselves back then.
Oh my gosh, I totally remember that location, and
that was a special spot.
It was, yeah. And this one is so beautiful too.
This is just so nice. Like the light in here is so nice, and it feels grown up.
So to me, you're sort of the epitome of like cool girl. Like, I feel like everything, I want to be as cool as you, but like everything you have in here is just so inspiring, and there's a lot of color too. Like, how do you guys kind of choose the brands that you integrate into this boutique?
I think for Marissa and I, the store was always supposed to be like your off-duty wear. So you're not in your serious clothes, going to your serious job, and you're not doing your formal life. You're living your life with your friends, you're living your life with your family, and you're not, in Lululemon's 24/7. So I think for us, it had to be fun and easy to wear. So we love color. I feel like we've always wanted something for everyone, but I feel like, I don't know, we wanted it to be playful just like the name. And we wanted to offer something for everyone. So there's tons of color, there's tons of black, there's jeans, there's t-shirts, like it's all just what you can live your life in.
Yeah.
I think.
And like,
I don't know.
find layering too. Like you can always buy something here and then add on to it, like with the accessories particularly.
Totally. And I feel like there's always a way to dress something up and dress it down. And I feel like we always keep that in mind. Like we're also moms living a life where we need clothes to work with us and for us, and they have to be for multi-purposes.
You live in Summerhill. You used to live in Leslieville, which is where my office is. What for you defines a great neighborhood? Like, do you see a difference between those two?
I think that the boutiques and the shop owners define a neighborhood, along with like the restaurants and the coffee shops, like all the small independently owned stores, I feel like define a neighborhood, or at least it defines it to me.
Yes.
And I always thought Leslieville had a great little community. We lived right at Logan and Queen, and I always loved like the bakery.
Yeah.
We had the Pilot coffee shop. We had Row Farms and all the little spots in between, which I really loved.
Yeah.
And I think that's what drew us there initially, was that it felt like a little version of this, just in a different location.
Yeah. No, I think that's so true. Your fashion sense is like so defined. Does that also evolve into your home? Like, would you say your style in terms of your wardrobe and fashion would you see that in your house as well? Or I'd love to hear about the aesthetic of your house.
Like I always think about that. I do not think that my home is as defined as my clothing. Like I think I lead a really casual. I like a casual aesthetic. I want everyone to be able to. I want my outfit to go anywhere. I want anyone to come into my house. But my home aesthetic, I don't really care. Like I lived with my mom for a long time. And she had all of her antiques and chests and all these like tchotchke things that weren't necessarily my style, but I don't care. I didn't care that they were there. I just felt like, oh, she loves that. That's perfect that that's there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have a way more relaxed vision of what my home needs to be versus.
And you have 2 boys.
And we have 2 boys, and just, I just am a little looser there.
Yeah.
But my clothes I can control a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I can create a better aesthetic than like the Legos everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the Legos are insane. You carry some super cool brands. They're from like all over the world.
All over.
Do you ever meet like the founders of those brands, or like what attracts you to certain brands?
I mean, I feel like when Marissa and I started the store, we were always centered on finding female founded brands and definitely wanted an environmental purpose behind them, or just that they were hand making their garments and using natural practices. And I feel like as time has evolved, those are still things that are in play for us. And then the one that's really won out is female founded.
Right.
So most of the brands in the store are female founded. There's a handful that aren't, but for the most part, that's what we try to focus on.
I want to get back to neighborhood again.
Yes.
Can you tell us some of your favorite spots in the hood? Like you always have Nut Bar in your hand.
I mean, everyone knows that I freaking love Nut Bar.
Yeah.
I really, I mean, I feel like I love every spot in the neighborhood. I feel like, again, something that I find so nice is that a lot of the shops and the businesses in the hood are founded and run by girls that I went to school with or that I knew from high school.
Right?
And it's unbelievable. Yeah. I obviously love Greenhouse. I love Sorel. I feel like Quanto Basta is like a favorite. I love Acote. Have you been there yet?
No.
Oh my gosh, Sorrel's Side Piece Bar.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
Okay,
It's
I
just
have to
little
check it
little
out.
bites and drinks. It's so cute.
Nice.
I'm really excited for Manita. I love Harvest Wagon.
Yeah.
I mean, I love everything. I love Taroni.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
I know. There's so many great places to
G?
go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
G Beauty is the best. Six
Yeah.
by G?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, love it. So with this idea of home and community, I want to ask like what home means to you. Because that's what our podcast is all about.
Right. I think home, like my biggest feeling of what home is, are the people in it. And then beyond that, I think it's all those special things. I think it's the frame photos.
Mhm.
I think it's the dishes you have in your cupboard that you love whipping out when you have big gatherings and your friends come over. You know, it's all the things that make a home. It's the candles you light when you walk in the door. It's the music you put on when you're home after work. It's all of those things that make a home cozy and comforting,
Yeah.
along with like obviously the joy of the people inside.
Yeah, for sure. It's all those like little things that make up the memories.
Totally.
And are very nostalgic.
I love entertaining, and it's
Yeah.
all those happy things.
Yeah. And your house is such a happy house.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
So I want to get into, just because like I don't really know how you became passionate about fashion. Why do you love fashion? Like, where did this all evolve?
I've always had a keen interest in fashion. It was something that always just like sat with me. And I think from a young age, I was always just like desperate to have a store. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
I want to have a boutique. It's evolved from like coffee shop boutique to being like, that's impractical, to just being a boutique. But the vision of what I had as like why I liked fashion was that my grandmother just had some really cool style. And that got me really into it. She loved jewelry. She loved cashmere sweaters. She loved pants. She just loved fur coats. She just rocked a really
did she,
cool
like, bring
style.
her A game all the time? With
Yes,
her
but I
fashion
guess
sense, but in like a more
I guess it was always a little bit more casual. Like
Okay.
it was always with like a really cool low boot or a really cool flat, and it was elegant but easy,
like effortless.
effortless,
Yeah.
but also just easy, and always with some good jewelry. And I think that's where I got that sense from, or just
Yeah.
what I wanted was like everyday, easy wearable outfits. And then I didn't go to university. I
Mhm.
went for a little bit, and I was just like, I'm done.
Not for me.
It wasn't for me. And then I started working for my mom's interior design company.
Okay.
And I ran that for a couple of years with the goal of kind of getting more hands-on experience of running a business. And then after a number of years, I was like, okay, Mom, like, I think I'm ready. Like, how do I do this? Help me.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to like find everything and write a business plan and do this? And so
Did you write a business plan?
we spent like a year doing that and kind of figuring out, all the costs, what you need. And then during that time, I was really lucky that a friend of mine introduced me to Marissa, because I really wanted to do it with someone.
Were you in your 20s when you started it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's young.
So young.
Yeah.
It was so young. I
Yeah.
feel like it was 2010.
Yeah.
Just doing some awkward quick math. I'm too nervous to do it right now, but I was like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
I really wanted a partner. And then a mutual best friend between Marissa and I, which was so funny that we hadn't met, introduced us, and then everything clicked and everything fell into place. And it was just serendipitous that it worked out that way.
Yeah.
And that we get to do this together.
That's so nice. It's so nice to have a co-founder. Like,
Totally.
I have a co-founder with my brother at our business, and it makes some of the days a lot less lonely.
Some of the days,
Yeah.
like the past 5 years, a lot
Yeah.
less lonely. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah.
pandemic to now.
Yeah.
It makes, yeah.
Right. That must have been a crazy time.
And just like the daily frustrations, you have someone that's like right there in it with you, that like you can vent, and then you can laugh and be like, and then move on.
yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
nice.
It's
There's
so
nothing
nice.
There's nothing better than a partner.
And do you guys have a complementary skill set, or?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we definitely balance each other out really nicely. And I'm just so happy. I feel like something that people never talk about is, when I was opening the business, everyone talked about how like, ooh, partners are scary. Like, are you sure you want one? And I was always like, absolutely. Like without a doubt in my mind, I want a partner. And I feel like people have such a
like kind of like, oh, if it doesn't work out,
what happens?
What happens? Yeah.
And they're so scared of them.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that it's not scary. Like having a partner, like if you're a nice, good person and you have communication skills and can openly talk about stuff, like if shit doesn't work out, stuff doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, like that could be with your best friend, that could be with your mom, that could be with your sister.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And that it's just I feel like the benefits outweigh the cons so much more. And there's an opportunity for so much joy and fun.
What do you find stylish? Like when you look at look at different women, or what do you think kind of defines style?
I know this may sound like boring, but I think it's just confidence.
Yeah.
Like I generally will put something on and regardless if you think it looks good or bad, I like it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that confidence is always something that shines through whatever the person is wearing. And
yeah.
If you feel weird in something, like there are plenty of days I put something on and I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it shows.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it looks great.
Yeah. No, but I've felt that like purchasing products here where it's been like a lilac like pant and sweater and then wearing it to work and just feeling like I'm rocking this.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah, I feel
it's
really
just
great.
A confidence booster.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So where do you see the future of Narwhal?
I always see the future as a brick and mortar store. Like I feel like, again, having a physical shop that people can come into is really important to me. There are plenty of days that clients just come in here to have their coffee, and I love that. And the community sense of it, and seeing all the people on the streets, seeing them come in here is the biggest joy for me. And then I don't know, perhaps like a bigger online presence or I don't know. We are online right now and it's great. And if it grows, it grows and that's perfect. But I think the number one vision I see for us in the future is here and still being brick and mortar. Like I'm not into the futuristic online only shopping experiences.
Though you do such a great job with
I think
Syd's vids and
that's as futuristic as I think I can get. But I think just still being the shop that you can walk into is the future for us.
It's home.
Yeah, it's home. Yeah. Exactly. And in one way or if any variation changes, but I definitely see us hopefully still being here.
I love that. So the Narwhal and the pieces you sell have a very specific vibe and are very on brand. How do you go about refining and defining that? And are they a reflection of the customer's tastes within the Summerhill community?
We always have stayed true to our personal styles. And, as I mentioned, Marissa and I really complement each other with our strengths and weaknesses as a partnership. And then also with our personal style, I feel like we really complement each other. I'm a little softer and she's a little edgier. But our core vision of what we've always wanted was a store that offered clothes that we would want to wear all the time, like in our lives, and not just in a Lululemon outfit doing our day, like in clothes that we want to wear and look good in, that we can run around with our kids and then, go out for dinner with our friends after or our partners. And I think we've always had very specific brands in mind. Like Ula Johnson has been with us for almost 10 years now. Zarena, the same. Like I feel like A Piece Apart has been with us since day one. There are so many brands. Lauren Manugian's been with us since day one. Like there are so many brands we've kept for so long, and they were brands that weren't ever offered in Toronto. And they still to this day are tried and true staples and favorites of clients. But there's definitely times when we go to Fashion Week and we're like, have our clients, and we always have our clients in mind, and we're always like, they would look amazing in this. And I just think that so and so would love this. Like I always think about my sisters, and their friends. But we always have clients in mind for the store that also have a reflection of the pieces we love.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
And you also sell such beautiful jewelry. I mean, I have the brand that has
Marlo Laz.
Yeah.
And the
that's
Gigi.
just like my astrology sign is so
I love
important to
that.
me. And then like the colorful
Gigi Clozo.
like
I love her stuff.
Yeah, and the price point varies too. Like there's really something for everyone.
Yeah, like I know it seems intimidating to walk in here. Like I always try to have the door open when it's sunny out because I know it's intimidating to walk into a store with like 3 girls behind the cash and if you're alone it's a lot. I always try to make it as welcoming as possible, but for the people that think that we only sell super expensive stuff, that's totally not true. We have Zarena with price points starting at $150. Those stunning Gigi Clozo necklaces that you can layer and like build collections over time along with the bracelets. But the bracelets start at $325 and there's such a wide range of stuff. Like we have a Goldie denim that's a really great price point, and I feel like you can kind of come in with a budget in mind and you can stay within it or you can be higher or lower. It's up to you, but I definitely think we have something for everyone despite the intimidation if you feel it.
Well, you have to get in here because like I've said, it feels like home. It's very welcoming.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I always feel a little bit cooler when I leave.
Oh, Dad, you're
a
so
little
cool.
more empowered in my day to day.
That's happy.
So yeah, it's amazing what you're building.
Thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate it.
So I want to let our viewers know like where they can find you. You're on Instagram, of course.
We're on Instagram. We're at Narwhal Boutique.
Yes.
We have a website, narwhalboutique.com. And I think then here.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
and then right here.
You're open Monday
to Saturday, 11 to 5.
Okay, awesome.